I never thought my own family would treat me like a stranger. But when I saw that group text, "We're having a siblings-only trip. You don't qualify," I felt my heart shatter into 1,000 pieces. My name is Emma. And this is the story of how my family tried to erase me, until one cancelled flight changed everything forever. If you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. It started 3 weeks ago. Thursday afternoon. I was at my desk, finishing up a proposal for work. My phone buzzed. Family group chat. I smiled, expecting something normal. Maybe mom sharing a recipe. Maybe dad posting another bad joke. But what I saw made my blood run cold. My older brother Jake had written, "All right everyone, flights are booked. Siblings trip to Hawaii is officially happening. Can't wait to spend a week with my real brothers and sisters." My younger sister Mia replied with heart emojis. Finally. Just us. No outsiders. My other brother Chris added, "This is going to be epic. Just the 4 of us who actually share blood." I stared at my phone. 4 of them. 4. There were 5 of us growing up. Jake, Chris, Mia, our youngest brother Tyler, and me. But I wasn't included in this count. I wasn't mentioned. I wasn't invited. Because I'm adopted. I was 3 years old when the Hendersons brought me home. I don't remember my biological parents. I don't remember anything before the Hendersons. For 27 years, they were my family. My only family. Or so I thought. My hands were shaking as I typed, "What about me?" The dots appeared. Someone was typing. Then they stopped. Then they appeared again. Finally, Jake responded, "Emma, this is a siblings-only trip. You know. Biological siblings. We wanted something just for us." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. The air left my lungs. The room started spinning. Mia chimed in, "It's not personal, Emma. We just want to bond over shared experiences. Family history. Genetics. You understand, right?" No. I didn't understand. I didn't understand at all. I had been there for every single one of them. When Jake got divorced, who let him live in her apartment for 6 months? Me. When Mia was struggling with postpartum depression, who flew across the country to help with the baby? Me. When Chris lost his job and couldn't make rent, who loaned him $5,000 that he never paid back? Me. I was always there. Always. And now I was being told I didn't qualify as a sibling. I typed back, "I've been your sister for 27 years. Chris replied, "Sister-in-law, basically. Let's be honest, Emma. You're not really one of us. We love you, but this trip is for actual family." Sister-in-law. Like I was someone who married in. Like I was temporary. Disposable. Tyler, my youngest brother, hadn't said anything. I waited. Maybe he would defend me. Maybe he would say this was wrong. But he didn't. He just liked Jake's message. I stared at that little thumbs-up icon next to Jake's cruel words. Tyler, who I used to read bedtime stories to. Tyler, who called me when he was scared during his first week of college. Tyler, who I thought loved me. He agreed with them. I closed the group chat. I didn't respond. What could I say? They had made their decision. I wasn't wanted. I wasn't family. I sat there in my office, surrounded by photos. Photos of us at Christmas. Photos of family vacations. Photos of graduations and birthdays and ordinary Tuesdays. In every single photo, I was smiling. I was hugging them. I was part of them. But I wasn't. Not really. Not in their eyes. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every family memory, looking for signs I had missed. Had they always felt this way? Had they always seen me as separate? Different? Less than? I remembered when I was 7, and Jake told me he was glad I was his sister. I remembered when I was 12, and Mia said she wanted to be just like me when she grew up. I remembered when I was 16, and Chris said I was the best sister anyone could ask for. Were they lying? Or did something change? I grabbed my laptop and opened Facebook. I searched for the family page. There were hundreds of photos. I scrolled through them, looking at myself in each one. And then I noticed something. In the recent photos, the last 2 years, I was barely in any of them. There were pictures of Jake, Chris, Mia, and Tyler together. At restaurants. At someone's house. At the beach. And I wasn't there. I hadn't been invited to those gatherings either. How had I not noticed? I kept scrolling. 3 years ago. 4 years ago. I was in more photos then. But as I went back further, I realized something else. I was always on the edge. Always on the side of the group. Never in the center. The 4 of them would be clustered together, arms around each other, and I would be slightly apart. Half a step back. Like even in the photos, I didn't quite belong. My vision blurred with tears. I slammed the laptop shut. The next morning, I called my mom. Maybe she could explain. Maybe she could make this make sense. "Hi, sweetheart," she said when she answered. Her voice was warm. Normal. Like nothing was wrong. "Mom, did you know about the Hawaii trip?" There was a pause. A long pause. "Oh. Yes. The kids mentioned it." The kids. Not your siblings. The kids. "And you're okay with them excluding me?" Another pause. I could hear her breathing. Thinking about what to say. "Emma, honey, they're allowed to have their own relationships. They wanted something just for the 4 of them. I think that's healthy." Healthy. She thought it was healthy to treat me like I wasn't part of the family. But I am one of them, Mom. You adopted me. You raised me as your daughter. Doesn't that mean anything? Of course it does. We love you so much. But Emma, you have to understand they share something you don't. A biological connection. That's special. That's different. You can't expect them to pretend it doesn't matter. I felt something break inside me. My own mother. The woman who held me when I had nightmares. The woman who taught me to ride a bike. The woman who cried at my college graduation. She was choosing them over me. "So I'm not really your daughter," I said quietly. "Emma, don't put words in my mouth. You're our daughter. We chose you. But you're also different. And that's okay. Different doesn't mean less. But it did mean less. To them, it meant exactly that. Have a nice life, Mom, I whispered, and I hung up. She called back immediately. I didn't answer. She called again. I turned off my phone. I went to work that day like a zombie. I sat in meetings. I responded to emails. I smiled at colleagues. But inside, I was dying. Inside, I was screaming. At lunch, my best friend Sophia noticed something was wrong. "Emma, what's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost." I told her everything. The group chat. The trip. My mom's response. By the time I finished, I was crying in the middle of the cafe. Sophia looked furious. "That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. They're monsters. All of them. They're my family," I said weakly. "No. They're not. Family doesn't do this. Family doesn't treat people like garbage just because they don't share DNA. She grabbed my hand. Emma, listen to me. You are worth so much more than this. You deserve people who see you, who value you, who love you unconditionally. But they're all I have. Then it's time to find something better. I didn't respond. I didn't know how. Because she was right, but I wasn't ready to accept it yet. That weekend, I did something I'd never done before. I hired a private investigator. I needed to know more about my biological family. I needed to know where I came from. Who I really was. Maybe if I found my real family, I wouldn't feel so lost. The investigator's name was Marcus. He was in his 50s, kind eyes, patient voice. He asked me questions about what I knew, which wasn't much. I had a few documents from the adoption. A first name, Catherine. A city, Portland. I'll see what I can find, Marcus said. Give me 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks were torture. I avoided my family. I didn't respond to texts. I didn't go to Sunday dinner. Jake called once to ask if I was coming to Hawaii anyway, to keep the peace. I hung up on him. I threw myself into work. I stayed late at the office. I took on extra projects. Anything to keep my mind occupied. And then, on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, Marcus called. Emma, I found her. I found your biological mother. My heart stopped. What? Already? Her name is Catherine Walsh. She lives in Seattle now. She's a successful businesswoman. CEO of Pacific Airlines. Pacific Airlines. One of the biggest carriers in the country. My biological mother was the CEO of an airline. Does she know about me? I don't know. But I have her contact information if you want it. I took it. I wrote down her email address, her phone number, her office address. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the pen. Emma, Marcus said gently. Be careful. I don't know what happened 27 years ago. I don't know why she gave you up. This might not go the way you hope. I understand. Thank you, Marcus. I hung up and stared at the paper. Catherine Walsh. My mother. My real mother. Did I look like her? Did I have her eyes? Her smile? Her laugh? Would she want to meet me? Or would she reject me too? I spent 3 days staring at that paper, building up the courage. Finally, on Friday night, I sent an email. Dear Ms. Walsh, my name is Emma Henderson. I was born on March 15, 1998, in Portland, Oregon. I believe you are my biological mother. I would very much like to speak with you if you're willing. No pressure. No expectations. I would like to know you. Sincerely, Emma. I hit send before I could change my mind. Then I waited. 1 day. 2 days. 3 days. Nothing. Maybe she didn't check her email. Maybe she was traveling. Maybe she didn't want anything to do with me. On the 4th day, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Emma? This is Catherine Walsh. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. My biological mother was on the phone. I got your email, she continued. Her voice was strong, confident, professional. I've been thinking about you for 27 years. I never thought I'd hear from you. You've been thinking about me? Every single day. Her voice cracked slightly. Emma, I didn't give you up because I didn't want you. I gave you up because I was 17, alone, and terrified. I thought you deserved better than what I could give you. Tears streamed down my face. I need to meet you. Please. I'm in Seattle right now. Can you fly up this weekend? Yes. Yes, absolutely. I'll send you a ticket. First class. Consider it a gift from your mom. Your mom. She called herself my mom. That Saturday, I boarded a flight to Seattle. My hands were trembling as I walked through the airport. I was wearing my best dress, my hair done perfectly, makeup carefully applied. I wanted to make a good impression. I wanted her to be proud of me. The flight was smooth. Beautiful. I'd never flown first class before. The seats were like small rooms. The flight attendants treated me like royalty. I felt special. Seen. When we landed in Seattle, I grabbed my bag and headed toward the exit. The airport was busy, full of people rushing to their gates, hugging loved ones, checking phones. And then I saw her. Standing near the baggage claim was a woman in her mid-40s. Tall, elegant, auburn hair like mine, green eyes like mine. She was wearing a navy suit and holding a sign that said Emma. I walked toward her slowly, like I was in a dream. When she saw me, her eyes filled with tears. She dropped the sign and opened her arms. I ran to her. I actually ran. And when she hugged me, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. I felt like I belonged. You're so beautiful, she whispered into my hair. You're so grown up. I missed everything. You're here now, I said. That's what matters. We spent the entire weekend together. She took me to her house, a stunning modern home overlooking the water. She cooked for me. She showed me photo albums from her life. She told me stories about my biological father, who had passed away 10 years ago in a car accident. He never knew about you, she said sadly. I should have told him. I regret that every day. It's okay, I said. You did what you thought was right. She asked me about my life. My job. My friends. My hobbies. She listened to every word like it was the most important thing she'd ever heard. And then I told her about the Hendersons. About the Hawaii trip. About being excluded. About being told I didn't qualify as a sibling. Catherine's face hardened. That's unacceptable. You were a child. They chose to adopt you. That means you are their daughter. You are their sister. There's no qualifier. No asterisk. You're family, period. They don't see it that way. Then they're wrong. She took my hand. Emma, I gave you up because I wanted you to have a family. A real family. If I had known they would treat you like this. She trailed off, her jaw clenched. It's not your fault, I said quickly. Maybe not. But I can fix it. What do you mean? She smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. It was the smile of a woman who had built an empire from nothing. A woman who didn't lose. When do they fly to Hawaii? Next Thursday. Why? What airline? Pacific Airlines. Why? Her smile widened. Because I own that airline, Emma. And I think it's time your family learned a very important lesson. My heart started racing. Catherine, what are you planning? Nothing illegal. Nothing harmful. Just a little reality check. She squeezed my hand. Do you trust me? I should have said no. I should have walked away. But I was hurt. I was angry. And I wanted them to feel even a fraction of the pain they'd caused me. I trust you, I whispered. The next few days were a blur. Catherine and I stayed in constant contact. She asked me for details about their flight, the time, the gate, the seat numbers. I gave her everything. I felt like a spy, but I didn't care. On Wednesday night, I flew back home. Catherine had offered to let me stay in Seattle, but I wanted to be there. I wanted to see their faces when her plan unfolded. Thursday morning arrived. The day of their flight. I woke up early, my stomach in knots. Part of me felt guilty. Part of me felt exhilarated. I knew they were flying out at 10 a.m. I drove to the airport and parked in the garage. I walked inside, bought a coffee, and sat near their gate. At 9:30, they arrived. All four of them. Jake with his carry-on and his arrogant smirk. Chris with his headphones and his designer sunglasses. Mia with her oversized purse and her constant phone checking. Tyler with his backpack and his quiet obedience. They didn't see me. I was sitting behind a pillar, watching. They checked in at the gate, laughing and joking. They took a group selfie. They posted it on social media with the caption, "Sibling Trip." I felt sick. At 9:45, the gate agent made an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, we regret to inform you that Flight 2847 to Honolulu has been cancelled due to mechanical issues. We apologize for the inconvenience. The entire gate erupted in groans and complaints. My siblings looked furious. Jake stormed up to the counter. "What do you mean cancelled? We have a whole trip planned." The agent looked apologetic. "I'm very sorry, sir. We're working on rebooking everyone. Please have a seat and we'll call you up when it's your turn." "This is ridiculous," Mia snapped. "We paid for these tickets." "I understand your frustration, ma'am. Again, we'll do our best to accommodate everyone." They sat down, grumbling and complaining. Jake was on his phone, probably writing an angry email. Chris was pacing. Mia was crying dramatically. Tyler just looked annoyed. I sipped my coffee and waited. 10 minutes later, the door to the jet bridge opened. Out walked Catherine Walsh herself, wearing a crisp suit and an expression of absolute authority. Behind her were two senior airline staff members. The gate fell silent. Everyone recognized her. The CEO of Pacific Airlines. In person. At their gate. Catherine walked up to the desk and spoke quietly to the gate agent, who nodded and gestured toward my siblings. Then Catherine turned and looked directly at me. She gave me the smallest smile. I stood up and walked toward her. Jake saw me first. His eyes widened. "Emma? What are you doing here?" I didn't answer. I walked right past him and stopped in front of Catherine. "Good morning, Emma," Catherine said warmly. "I'm so glad you could make it." "Good morning, Catherine. Thank you for inviting me." Behind me, I heard Mia gasp. "Wait, what?" Catherine extended her hand, and I shook it. Then she turned to address the entire gate. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize again for the cancellation of your flight. As a gesture of goodwill, Pacific Airlines will be providing full refunds and rebooking all passengers at no additional cost. We value your business and your patience." There were murmurs of relief and approval throughout the gate. Then Catherine's eyes landed on my siblings. "However, I'd like to speak with a few passengers privately. Jake, Chris, Mia, and Tyler Henderson. Please come with me." They looked at each other, confused and nervous. Slowly, they stood up and approached. Jake looked from me to Catherine and back again. "What's going on?" Catherine's smile was ice cold. "Follow me. Now." She led us to a private conference room near the gate. The door closed behind us. The room was small, windowless, sterile. A single table with 6 chairs. "Sit," Catherine said. They sat. I remained standing next to Catherine. "Do you know who I am?" Catherine asked. "You're Catherine Walsh," Jake said slowly. "CEO of Pacific Airlines." "Correct. Do you know who Emma is?" They all looked at me, confused. "She's our adopted sister," Mia said hesitantly. Wrong, Catherine said sharply. She's my daughter. My biological daughter. The child I gave birth to 27 years ago and placed for adoption because I was 17 and alone. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Chris spoke first. Wait, you're Emma's real mom? I'm her mother, yes. And from what I understand, you four have been treating her like she doesn't belong in your family. Catherine's voice was dangerously calm. You excluded her from a siblings trip because she's adopted. You told her she doesn't qualify as your sister. You made her feel worthless. We didn't mean it like that, Jake stammered. We just wanted, I don't care what you wanted, Catherine interrupted. You hurt her. You betrayed her. And that is unacceptable. Mia started crying. We're sorry, Emma. We didn't think, no, you didn't think, I said quietly. You didn't think about all the times I was there for you. You didn't think about how much I loved you. You didn't think about anything except yourselves. Tyler finally spoke, his voice small. Emma, we made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday, Catherine said coldly. This was a choice. A deliberate, cruel choice. She walked around the table slowly, letting her words sink in. Here's what's going to happen. Your flight was not cancelled due to mechanical issues. I cancelled it. You will be rebooked on a flight that leaves tomorrow morning. You will spend the night in this airport. You will not be given hotel vouchers. You will not be given meal vouchers. You will sit in this terminal and think about what you've done. You can't do that. Jake said, standing up. I can, and I did. I own this airline. I make the rules. And the rule is this, you don't treat my daughter like garbage and get rewarded with a vacation. Chris looked panicked. But we already paid for the hotel in Hawaii. And the activities. Everything is scheduled. Then I suggest you call and reschedule, Catherine said coolly. Consider it a lesson in consequences. She turned to me. Emma, there's a car waiting for us outside. Let's go. I looked at my siblings one last time. Jake looked angry. Chris looked shocked. Mia was still crying. Tyler looked guilty. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No anger. Just emptiness. Goodbye, I said, and I walked out of the room with Catherine. As we left the airport, I could hear Jake yelling behind us, but I didn't turn around. Catherine put her arm around my shoulders. How do you feel? She asked. I don't know, I admitted. I thought I'd feel better. But I just feel sad. That's because you're a good person, Emma. You're better than they deserve. We got into the waiting car, a sleek black SUV with a driver. As we pulled away from the airport, Catherine handed me an envelope. What's this? Open it. Inside was a plane ticket. First class. To Paris. I'm supposed to fly to Paris next week for a business meeting, Catherine said. Come with me. Take some time away. See the world. Let me show you what you deserve. I stared at the ticket, tears blurring my vision. Catherine, I can't accept this. It's too much. You're my daughter. Nothing is too much. She took my hand. Emma, I lost 27 years with you. I can't get that time back. But I can make the future better. Let me do this. Please. I nodded, unable to speak. That night, I stayed at Catherine's house in Seattle. We sat on the balcony, drinking wine and watching the sunset over the water. Can I ask you something? I said quietly. Anything. Do you regret giving me up? Catherine was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. Every single day. But I also know that I wasn't ready to be a mother. I was a child myself. I thought I was doing the right thing. She turned to look at me. I'm sorry you ended up with people who didn't appreciate you. I'm sorry I didn't fight harder to keep you. But I'm not sorry I found you now. And I promise you, Emma, I will spend the rest of my life making sure you know how valuable you are. I leaned my head on her shoulder, and for the first time in weeks, I felt at peace. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. Jake, Emma, we need to talk. This has gone too far. Chris, you humiliated us in front of everyone. How could you do this? Mia, I thought we were family. I can't believe you'd be so vindictive. Tyler, I'm really disappointed in you. I read each message carefully. Then I typed a response and sent it to the group chat. You're right. We are family. And family doesn't exclude each other. Family doesn't treat people like they don't belong. You taught me that. I just wish you had learned it yourselves. Have a good trip. I'll be in Paris. First class. With my real mom. The one who actually wants me. Then I left the group chat. Blocked all their numbers. And I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Catherine and I flew to Paris the following week. It was the most magical trip of my life. We stayed in a 5-star hotel near the Eiffel Tower. We ate at Michelin-starred restaurants. We walked along the Seine. We visited the Louvre and Notre Dame and Versailles. But more than the sights, it was the time with Catherine that healed me. She told me stories about her childhood, her struggles, her triumphs. She asked me about my dreams, my fears, my hopes. She listened. She cared. She saw me. One evening, as we sat at a café in Montmartre, she said something I'll never forget. Emma, I want you to know something. You are not defined by the people who rejected you. You are defined by your kindness, your strength, your resilience. You are extraordinary. And I am so proud to be your mother. I cried. Right there in the middle of the café, I cried like a child. I'm proud to be your daughter, I whispered. We stayed in Paris for 2 weeks. When we finally returned to the States, I made a decision. I wasn't going back to my old life. I wasn't going to keep living in a city where every street reminded me of people who didn't value me. I quit my job. I sold my apartment. And I moved to Seattle to be near Catherine. She helped me find a new job at Pacific Airlines. I started as a project manager in the corporate office. It wasn't nepotism, I earned the position through interviews and qualifications, but Catherine's endorsement certainly helped. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. My phone rang occasionally. Jake. Chris. Mia. Even Tyler. I never answered. They left voicemails, apologies mixed with justifications. We didn't mean to hurt you. You're overreacting. This is tearing the family apart. But I didn't care anymore. They had made their choice. And I had made mine. Months passed. I thrived in my new job. I made new friends. I went on dates. I learned to cook French cuisine with Catherine. I traveled to Tokyo, London, Barcelona. I lived. And then, one day, I got a call from my old number. The Hendersons' landline. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hello? Emma? It was my adoptive mother's voice. She sounded old. Tired. Emma, it's Mom. I know. Can we talk? Please? I hesitated. What do you want? I want to apologize. I want to explain. I want my daughter back. I closed my eyes. Part of me wanted to hang up. Part of me wanted to scream. But part of me, a small, stubborn part, still loved her. I'm listening, I said quietly. She took a shaky breath. After what happened at the airport, your siblings told us everything. What they said to you. How they treated you. Emma, I had no idea it was that bad. I thought it was just a silly sibling thing. I didn't realize how cruel they'd been. You told me it was healthy, I said, my voice hard. You said they were allowed to have their own relationships. I was wrong. I was so wrong. She was crying now. Emma, I failed you. I should have stood up for you. I should have told them they were being horrible. But I didn't. And I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix it, Mom. I know. I know it doesn't. But I want to try. Please, Emma. Come home. Come back to us. I am home, I said softly. I'm in Seattle. With Catherine. With my mother. There was a long silence. I see, she said finally. I understand. Do you? Because for 27 years, you were my mother. You were my family. And the moment things got hard, you chose them over me. You told me I was different. Less. You validated everything they said. Emma, I loved you so much. I would have done anything for you. And you threw me away like I was nothing. That's not true. We love you. No. You loved the idea of me. The charity case. The adopted daughter you could parade around and feel good about. But the moment I needed you to actually see me as equal to your biological children, you couldn't do it. She was sobbing now. Please. Please don't do this. You're my daughter. No, I said, tears streaming down my face. I was your daughter. But you gave that up when you chose them. I hung up. Catherine found me an hour later, curled up on the couch, crying. What happened? She asked gently, sitting beside me. I told her about the call. About my adoptive mother's apology. About how much it still hurt. Do you want to forgive her? Catherine asked. I don't know. Part of me does. Part of me wants to believe she's really sorry. But another part of me knows that if I go back, nothing will change. I'll always be the outsider. Always be less than. Catherine pulled me into a hug. You are not less than anyone, Emma. You are everything. And whatever you decide, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I held on to her and cried until I had no tears left. A few weeks later, I received a letter in the mail. It was from Jake. I almost threw it away. But curiosity got the better of me. Inside was a handwritten note on plain white paper. Emma, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to even read this. But I need to say it anyway. You were right. We were cruel. We were selfish. We treated you like you didn't matter, and that was unforgivable. I've spent the last 6 months thinking about what we did. About how we made you feel. And I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself and my siblings and our parents. You deserved better. You deserved to be loved unconditionally. And we failed you. I failed you. I don't know if there's any way to make this right. But I want to try. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I'm sorry, Emma. I'm so sorry. Jake. I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer and didn't think about it for weeks. But it stayed with me. His words. His apology. His shame. One night, I asked Catherine what she thought I should do. Do you want a relationship with them? She asked. I don't know. They hurt me so badly. But they're the only family I knew for most of my life. And Jake sounds genuine. Then maybe you give him a chance. Not them. Not all of them. But Jake. One conversation. See if he's really changed. I thought about it for a long time. And finally, I sent Jake an email. I'll meet you for coffee. 1 hour. That's all I'm offering. He responded immediately. Thank you. I'll be there. We met at a small cafe in Portland, halfway between Seattle and where Jake lived. I arrived early, my heart pounding. I ordered a latte and sat by the window, watching people walk by. Jake arrived exactly on time. He looked different. Older. Tired. He'd lost weight. His eyes were red, like he hadn't been sleeping. He sat down across from me. Thank you for coming. 1 hour, I said. Make it count. He nodded. I won't waste your time with excuses. What we did was wrong. There's no justifying it. No explaining it away. We were selfish and cruel, and you deserved better. Why? I asked. Why did you do it? Jake looked down at his hands. Honestly? I think we were jealous. Jealous? Of what? Of how good you are. How kind. How selfless. He looked up at me. Emma, you were always the best of us. You were the one who helped everyone. Who showed up. Who cared. And I think, deep down, we resented that. We resented that the person who wasn't really one of us was better than all of us combined. I hadn't expected that. I'd expected defensiveness. Excuses. Not honesty. So you decided to hurt me? We decided to exclude you. To remind you, and ourselves, that you were different. That you didn't belong. Because if you didn't belong, then we didn't have to feel bad about not being as good as you. I stared at him. That's twisted, Jake. I know. I know it is. And I hate myself for it. He ran a hand through his hair. After the airport, after everything that happened, I started going to therapy. My therapist helped me see how toxic our behavior was. How much we hurt you. And how much we hurt ourselves by pushing you away. Are the others in therapy too? He shook his head. Chris is still angry. He thinks you overreacted. Mia is. Mia. She's sad but doesn't really understand what we did wrong. Tyler feels guilty, but he won't talk about it. And your parents? Dad doesn't know what to say. Mom is devastated. She keeps saying she failed you. She wants to fix it, but she doesn't know how. I sipped my latte, letting his words settle. What do you want, Jake? Why are you here? I want to be your brother again. Not your biological brother. Not your real brother. Just your brother. The way I should have been all along. That's going to take time. A lot of time. I know. And I'm willing to wait. However long it takes. We talked for 2 hours. I told him about my life in Seattle. About Catherine. About my job. About how happy I was. He listened without interrupting. Without making it about himself. And when we finally said goodbye, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. Over the next year, Jake and I slowly rebuilt our relationship. We met for coffee every few weeks. We texted occasionally. We talked about real things, our fears, our regrets, our dreams. He never pushed. He never asked me to forgive the others. He just showed up. Consistently. Genuinely. Chris eventually reached out too. His apology was less sincere, more defensive, but he was trying. Mia sent flowers on my birthday. Tyler wrote me a letter. I didn't respond to any of them. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But Jake? Jake I gave a chance. Because he earned it. Catherine and I grew closer every day. She introduced me to my extended biological family, aunts, uncles, cousins I'd never known existed. They welcomed me with open arms. They treated me like I'd always been there. For the first time in my life, I understood what it felt like to truly belong. One evening, as Catherine and I sat on her balcony watching the sunset, she said, "I have something to tell you." "What's that?" "I'm stepping down as CEO of Pacific Airlines. I'm retiring." I stared at her. "What? Why?" "Because I've spent the last 27 years building a company. And I don't want to spend the next 27 doing the same thing. I want to travel. I want to spend time with you. I want to live." She smiled. "I've already given my notice. I'll be done in 6 months. "Catherine, are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." She took my hand. "Emma, finding you changed my life. I don't want to waste another minute." 6 months later, Catherine officially retired. We threw a huge party at her house. Friends, colleagues, family, everyone came to celebrate. Jake came too. I'd invited him. He was nervous, but Catherine welcomed him warmly. "Thank you for loving my daughter," she told him. "Thank you for trying to make things right." He looked like he might cry. "Thank you for giving her the family she deserved." As the party wound down and guests started to leave, Catherine pulled me aside. "I have one more surprise for you." "Catherine, you've already given me so much. This is different." She handed me an envelope. "Open it." Inside was a deed. To a house. "What is this?" "It's the house next door to mine. I bought it. For you. If you want it." I looked at her, stunned. "Catherine, I can't." "Yes, you can. Emma, you're my daughter. And I want you close. I want to see you every day. I want to have coffee with you in the mornings and dinner with you in the evenings. I want to be the mother I should have been 27 years ago." I threw my arms around her and sobbed. "Yes. Yes, I want it. I want all of it." That night, after everyone had gone home, I stood on the balcony of my new house and looked out at the water. The moon was full, casting silver light across the waves. I thought about the girl I'd been a year ago. Broken. Lost. Believing she didn't belong anywhere. And I thought about the woman I was now. Strong. Loved. Home. My phone buzzed. A text from Jake. "Thank you for inviting me tonight. It meant the world." I smiled and typed back. "Thank you for showing up." Another text came through. This time from an unknown number. "Emma, this is Mia. I know you probably don't want to hear from me. But I wanted to say I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. I was horrible to you. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. I see how wrong we were. And I'm trying to be better. I hope you're happy. You deserve it." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back. "Thank you. I am happy." I didn't say I forgave her. I didn't say we could be sisters again. But I said thank you. And for now, that was enough. The next morning, Catherine and I had coffee on my new balcony. The sun was rising, painting the sky pink and gold. "How does it feel?" she asked. "Being home?" I smiled. "It feels perfect." "Good. Because you're stuck with me now." I laughed. "I can live with that." We sat in comfortable silence, watching the world wake up. And for the first time in my entire life, I felt complete. Months passed. Then a year. Then 2. My life in Seattle became everything I'd ever dreamed of. I was promoted at work. I traveled the world with Catherine. I made deep, meaningful friendships. Jake and I continued to rebuild our relationship. It was slow, but it was real. He introduced me to his new girlfriend, a kind woman named Sarah who treated me with respect and warmth. Chris eventually came around. His apology was awkward and stilted, but he meant it. We weren't close, but we were civil. That was progress. Mia tried harder. She sent cards on holidays. She called occasionally. I responded sometimes. It was complicated, but it was something. Tyler remained distant. He sent a brief apology email, but we never really reconnected. I made peace with that. Not every relationship could be saved. My adoptive parents reached out a few times. I spoke to my adoptive father once. It was brief but kind. My adoptive mother I avoided. The wound there was still too deep. But I was okay with that. I didn't need them anymore. I had Catherine. I had Jake. I had a life full of people who loved me unconditionally. One day, Catherine and I were planning a trip to Greece when she suddenly went quiet. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing's wrong. I'm so grateful, Emma. Grateful that I found you. Grateful that I get to be your mother. I'm grateful too. For all of it. Even the hard parts. Because they led me here. To you." She squeezed my hand. "You know what the best part is?" "What?" "We have the rest of our lives to make up for lost time." I smiled. "Then let's not waste a single moment." And we didn't. We traveled to Greece, Italy, Japan, Morocco. We celebrated birthdays and holidays. We had lazy Sundays and adventurous Saturdays. We built a life together. A real life. A life full of love and laughter and belonging. 3 years after the airport incident, I received an invitation in the mail. It was from Jake. He was getting married to Sarah, and he wanted me to be there. I called him immediately. "Jake, I got your invitation. I hope you'll come. It would mean everything to me. To us. Of course I'll come. I wouldn't miss it." The wedding was beautiful. Small and intimate, held in a garden in Portland. I sat in the front row with Catherine by my side. When Jake said his vows, he looked directly at me. I used to think family was about blood. About shared DNA. But I was wrong. Family is about love. About showing up. About choosing each other every single day. And I'm grateful to the people in my life who taught me that. Including my sister, Emma, who never gave up on me even when I gave her every reason to. I cried. Catherine held my hand. After the ceremony, at the reception, Chris approached me. "Can we talk?" I nodded. We walked to a quiet corner of the garden. "I wanted to say I'm sorry," he began. "I know I've said it before, but I don't think I really meant it. Not the way I should have. Emma, you were the best sister anyone could ask for. And I was too stupid and selfish to see it." "Thank you," I said quietly. "I don't expect us to be close. I know I don't deserve that. But I hope we can be something. Even if it's just occasional texts and holiday cards. I think we can manage that." He smiled, relief washing over his face. "Thank you." Mia found me later, tears in her eyes. "Emma, I miss you. I miss my sister. I'm right here. But it's not the same. And I know that's my fault. I wish I could go back and do it all differently. You can't. But you can do better moving forward. I'm trying. I really am. I know. And I appreciate that." Tyler didn't approach me. He watched from across the room, his expression unreadable. At the end of the night, as I was leaving, he stopped me. Emma, I don't know what to say. Then don't say anything. Not yet. When you're ready, I'll be here. He nodded. Thank you. As Catherine and I drove back to Seattle that night, I felt a sense of closure. Not forgiveness, not entirely. But closure. Peace. How are you feeling? Catherine asked. Good. Really good. It's not perfect. It's not what it used to be. But it's okay. And okay is enough. I'm proud of you, she said. For being strong. For setting boundaries. For taking care of yourself. I learned from the best. She smiled. You give me too much credit. No. I give you exactly the right amount. 5 years after the airport incident, I was thriving. I'd been promoted to vice president at Pacific Airlines. I'd written a book about my experiences with adoption and family, which became a bestseller. I'd found love, a wonderful man named David who adored me and treated me like a queen. Catherine was in the best health of her life, traveling and volunteering and living fully. Jake and I talked every week. We were close again. Not the same as before, but something better. Something honest. Chris and I exchanged occasional messages. He'd started therapy and was working on himself. I was proud of him. Mia and I had coffee a few times a year. It was stilted sometimes, but it was genuine. She was trying. That mattered. Tyler and I had finally had a real conversation. He'd apologized, truly apologized, and we'd started slowly rebuilding. It would take time, but we had time. My adoptive parents reached out one last time. A letter from both of them. Emma, we failed you. We let you down in the worst possible way. We can't change the past, but we want you to know that we love you. We always have. We always will. You will always be our daughter, whether you want to be or not. We're here if you ever want to talk. But if you don't, we understand. We just want you to be happy. Love, Mom and Dad. I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in a box with all the other letters and cards they'd sent over the years. I didn't respond. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I kept the letters. Because someday, maybe I'd be ready. One evening, as I sat with Catherine on my balcony, watching the sunset, she asked me the question I'd been waiting for. Do you forgive them, Emma? Your adoptive family? I thought about it for a long time. I don't know if I forgive them, I said finally. But I don't hate them anymore. I don't carry that anger. I've let it go. Not for them. For me. That's very wise. I learned it from you. She laughed. You keep saying that. Because it's true. Catherine, you saved me. You showed me what real love looks like. What real family looks like. And I will never be able to thank you enough for that. You don't have to thank me. Being your mother is the greatest gift of my life. We sat in silence as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. Do you ever regret it? I asked quietly. Giving me up? Every single day, she said without hesitation. But I also know that if I hadn't, I wouldn't be the person I am now. And neither would you. We both had to walk our own paths to get here. And I wouldn't change where we ended up. Neither would I. She put her arm around me, and I leaned into her warmth. I love you, Mom, I whispered. I love you too, sweetheart. More than you'll ever know. As the stars began to appear in the darkening sky, I thought about everything that had happened. The pain. The betrayal. The rejection. The discovery. The healing. The love. And I realized something. I wouldn't change a single thing. Because all of it, every heartbreak, every tear, every moment of feeling lost, led me here. To this balcony. To this woman. To this life. A life where I was loved. Where I was valued. Where I belonged. And that was worth everything. Years later, I stood at a podium in a conference hall, speaking to hundreds of people about adoption, family, and belonging. People ask me all the time if I've forgiven my adoptive family, I said. And the truth is, forgiveness is complicated. It's not black and white. It's not a switch you flip. It's a process. A choice you make every day. I paused, looking out at the audience. I don't know if I've forgiven them entirely. But I've forgiven myself. I've forgiven myself for believing I wasn't enough. For believing I didn't deserve love. For staying in a situation that hurt me because I was afraid of being alone. I saw people nodding, tears in their eyes. And I've learned something important. Family isn't about blood. It's not about DNA. It's about showing up. It's about choosing each other. It's about love that doesn't come with conditions or qualifications. I smiled. I found that kind of love. In the most unexpected place. With a woman who gave me life twice. Once when she gave birth to me. And once when she found me again and showed me what real family looks like. Catherine was in the front row, beaming with pride. So if you're out there, feeling like you don't belong. Feeling like you're not enough. Feeling like you're alone. I want you to know something. You are enough. You do belong. And your family is out there, waiting for you. Maybe it's the family you were born into. Maybe it's the family you choose. But it's out there. And you deserve it. All of it. Every bit of love and acceptance and joy. The audience erupted in applause. I stepped down from the podium, and Catherine met me with a hug. That was beautiful, she whispered. I meant every word. As we left the conference hall, my phone buzzed. A text from Jake. Saw your speech online. I'm so proud of you. You're incredible, sis. I smiled and typed back. Thanks, bro, love you. Another text came through. From Mia. Your speech made me cry. You're so strong, Emma. I'm lucky to know you. And then one from Tyler. I watched your speech. I'm sorry for everything. Thank you for not giving up on us. I showed the messages to Catherine. Looks like they're still trying, she said. Yeah. They are. How does that feel? Good. It feels good. We walked to the car, the sun warm on our faces, the future stretching out before us like an endless horizon. And I knew, deep in my bones, that everything was going to be okay. Better than okay. Everything was going to be beautiful. Because I was finally home.